Hello everybody, my name is Richard Vigorelli and this is Vigorelli Institute. Now, last week I reviewed the first in a series of two. Here's the second. I literally just finished watching it. It was right here. Now it's back in its house. And I kind of liked it. It's not the greatest movie ever. I've already reviewed one that arguably is. Okay? But Kill Bill 2, really good wrap up to the two-part series. Okay? Uma plays the bride. Her name is actually bleeped out, but I'm leaning her real name is Beatrix or Beatrice. And in this, she gets into a really good fight with Daryl Hannah. I was really kind of impressed. Daryl Hannah, by the way, smoking hot blonde, blonde bombshell from the 80s when she was in her early to mid-20s, kind of the Sydney Sweeney of that time. Oh yes, darling. Now, it is surprisingly less violent. This one is a lot more intellectual, and it's a lot more focused on why the first one happened. Okay? So it starts out with her driving in a very classic Hollywood way. She's behind the wheel of a car. She's talking to the camera directly, so she's looking into the camera just like this, and she's monologuing. Okay, or what we in stage would call a soliloquy. Basically, she's thinking out loud so that you, the audience, know exactly what's going on inside of her pretty little head. Also, they've got the background streaming behind her. Now, the way this effect is done, it's really easy. They've got the model of a car, and the actor sits inside, hands on the wheel, and does this, make it look like they're driving. And it's a green screen behind them. There's actually several jokes in history about, in one movie, I can't remember what one it is. They're driving along, and the driver actually gets out of the car without them stopping the footage and stands behind the car and, then climbs back in and all of that. It's funny because they're poking fun at the whole effect. Okay? Because it's really obvious that it's fake, but if the actors are good and if the script is good, you don't care. Moving on. Anyway, we do get to see her daughter. She's 7 or so, and she's living with David Carradine's character, otherwise known as Bill. She's got a nice little hacienda, and he's not a good person. So most of the movie it kicks off right after she gets back from Japan from taking out Lucy Liu's character, and she has to go out into the Arizona desert to find one of the guys. Okay, Matt Marsden, I believe is his name. Yeah, he's a bouncer at a certain bar, jiggle jiggle, that's all I can legally say, and he's kind of a putz. Well, he's got this sword that he allegedly pawned, and she goes in to get him, and he hits her with a bunch of rock salt from a boomstick. Yes. Well, takes her out, and he buries her alive. Sorry. Well, we then flash back as she's in her coffin there to when she was in Canton. That's southern China, for those of you who don't know. Training with this master that taught her the one-inch punch. And Tarantino changes the way the film looks, so it looks a little bit more like either an exploitation film from the 1970s and or a kung fu film from the 1970s, including the highly aggressive Cantonese, which, if any of you out there speak any form of Chinese, And this is me saying after I have spoken to someone who is Cantonese and has confirmed this. Cantonese sounds like you're barking. It's got a lot of pits, sharp cuts in its tones, whereas Mandarin is a little bit more flowing. Same thing with Zhao. Okay? So, very beautiful woman. Her name was Derby. Total sweetheart. Went to grad school with her. Absolutely gorgeous, too. Moving on. So, he teaches her how to fight after, beating the living crap out of her, as a jerk like that will do. The guy does not like Caucasians, does not like women, does not like anybody who doesn't speak Cantonese fluently. And even then, he's got to warm up to you. And basically, if he feeds you, that means he likes you. Anyway, teaches her how to fight. So Daryl Hannah's character comes in later and also tries to learn how to fight. This guy's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder, and if you insult him in any way, he does mean things. Well, he tore out this one on her. Yeah. Now, Uma Thurman's character manages to get away relatively unscathed. Doesn't damage her physically. And she's got all these new and awesome skills, and Bill's very happy. So we flash back to the grave, and she 1-inch punches her way out, crawls out, comes, and goes after Matt Marsden's character. His name's Bud. Except for one little thing. Daryl Hannah's character took him out. Her name's Elle. See, her code name was Black Mamba, okay? And she gives him a bunch of money for taking out Uma Thurman's character. Well, she's hidden a black mamba in the money, and he gets bit like 3-4 times, dies 2 minutes later. And she just gloats over him, mocking him and all this. Well, Uma Thurman's character walks in, and it's basically, hey, he's dead. So they start yelling at each other. They get into a fight, turns into a sword fight, and she doesn't kill her. Instead, she takes out the other one. So Daryl Hannah's character is thrashing around, I'm gonna get you, yada yada yada. The snake is still in there. I presume the snake found her and snap. She's blind after all. Anyway, so Uma's character tracks down Bill and discovers daughter. Well, he's basically got this sweet little girl who knows bad things happen, and she's totally cool with it. That's interesting. And they put the kid to bed in a very, very messed up ritual, I guess. So they have a little one-on-one after the kid goes to bed, like, hey, I don't trust you. Well, that's great. I don't trust you. I don't like you. Good. I freaking hate you. And he shoots her with a dart. It's got some stuff in it. It's a truth serum that also creates euphoria. Well, he starts asking her a bunch of questions about, hey, why did you do this thing? And she tells him. And actually, when she was pregnant with a daughter, she ran off. So an assassin came to get her and let her go because she was pregnant. So she just disappears because she doesn't want to raise her daughter in that environment. Well, he gets upset. He mourns her for 3 years. At the end of 3 years, he goes out to find her and discovers her in Arizona, was it? Anyway, she's going to marry this guy and she's pregnant. Well, that goes sideways. And that is what caused everything to happen in number 1. Okay? So once everything's all laid out on the table and we now know exactly what's going on, these two fight, and she does what is called the 5-point punch on him, and he's bye-bye, bad heart. Okay? So she takes the girl and lives happily ever after. Kill Bill 2. I didn't mind it. I mean, again, not the greatest movie ever in creation. Okay? It's very Tarantino. A little bit of feet. Not as much as one. Still there, though. Tarantino, back in the noughts, he had a thing for Uma Thurman's feet. Okay? Feet people are weird. Now, I will say, Uma, circa 2004, yowza, smoking hot. Nowadays, a little bit less so. Granted, that was 20 years ago, so there you are. I think she's in her 50s now? Late 40s, mid 50s, somewhere in there. I'm not sure. Also, I don't care. So, David, though, yeah, he did something stupid not long after making this movie. Lots of history about that. Like to wear women's underwear and play with belts. That's all I'm going to say. Moving on. Matt Marsden's pretty much done, and as far as I know, Daryl Hannah's retired. I mean, she was in her late 40s, early 50s when this movie was produced. She's very much so a senior citizen now. From what I hear, still gorgeous. So, if you like hot chicks with swords, really messed up relationship stuff, I do recommend this. If you want something a little bit more cerebral, maybe look somewhere else. That's all I'm saying. So, thank you so much. I will be back later with something else. I'm considering watching the only 6 Star Wars movies that exist and going from there. I haven't seen them in years, and I'm thinking we'll watch them in chronological order, not release order. So, continuity. So we'll go from there. So, thank you so much. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Feel free to yell at me. I don't care. Follow me on Twitter, handle in the description, and visit my website, vimandvigorelli.com. Books, merchandise, ghost stories, Chinese astrological readings. You do have to pay. That's how it is. So I will be back later with something else. You take care. Bye-bye.